What do you got, Tyler?
All right, the man who scored the first offensive touchdown for the Bears this year is someone who's largely been forgotten about, it feels like. Khalil Herbert had the touchdown run early in the game, but really hasn't been seen much this season. He only got 2 carries in the game against the Texans and was only on the field for 6 snaps. Should Khalil Herbert be getting more workload?
I'm fine with that. I mean, some people got really, hot and bothered in their panties in a bunch when, the lineup out there wasn't the 3 receivers, Cole Kmet and DeAndre Swift. I mean, that would violate that combination. Why aren't your best players on the field with Khalil Herbert? I don't think there's an enormous drop-off from DeAndre Swift and Khalil Herbert. So I would be more interested, honestly, to seeing if Roschon Johnson is healthy. And I don't think he's Earl Campbell. But right now, you need a team that's going north and south, as far as I can tell by watching them try to run the football. And I think he's their best option to do that.
I don't need any more Travis Homer. I've told you that. So, and I need a running game. So whether that's more Herbert, more Roschon, more DeAndre Swift, just being effective. Like they have to be able to rush the football against this Colts team based on what they've not been able to defend these first 2 games.
You and I should be able to rush the football against the Colts.
Exactly. If we can, we're old and slow. You were always slow.
Yes.
Now we're both old.
Now I'm old and slow.
All right. Cairo Santos kicked 2 50-yarders against the Texans the other day. And I don't know if you've seen some of the numbers that have come out about field goals so far this season, but week 1 had the 3rd most field goals in NFL history in a single week. This past week, week 3, had the most field goals in NFL history in a single week. Field goal kicking is at an all-time high right now. And we had the conversation off air yesterday talking about Cairo Santos. And it seems like everybody in the league has a kicker now where you can trot them out there to attempt a 60-yarder and they'll have the distance, no issue. It's just going to come down to whether or not they have the accuracy for it. Cairo Santos, that's certainly not the case. It seems like he has to pull a 3-iron out anytime he wants to kick from 55 plus. Would you sacrifice accuracy, let's say 3 to 5% worth of accuracy, for the ability to kick from a further distance?
You want to do a kicking carousel again with a guy who's 90%? I understand what you're saying.
By the way, it's hard to kick at Soldier Field, much harder than other places, and he's kind of mastered that.
I don't want to create a problem that you don't have. This team has enough problems that they do have. Why create a problem that they don't have? Right now, Cairo Santos is not a problem.
No, and I agree. I understand what you're saying. Like, he does not have the leg strength that most of the guys in the league have, but I would suggest that he's got better accuracy than most of the guys in the league. And kicking on the lakefront, especially late in the year, is something that he has seemed to have done a really nice job with. And I don't want to walk away from that at this time.
So couldn't you say, like, the kicking in general across the board has just been so good that if you just pluck someone, you've got a pretty high chance of finding something good?
No.
I don't know if that guy can come to Soldier Field and get adjusted to what he's going to face there.
I think you're looking at you're not looking at everybody. I think, like, the Packers have had a tough time finding a kicker recently.
The Vikings as well, right? Didn't the Vikings cut their guy and then sign somebody?
I think that was partially because of some trade stipulations, but yes.
So again, that's an area where I'll get to when it becomes an issue right now. And you just signed him. I'm fine where I'm at this point.
Yeah.
Last night, something I noticed with the Monday Night Football game is how the end of game, or how the new kickoff rule could impact some of these end of game situations. Because if you kick it through the end zone there, you're putting yourself at the 30. And like we were just mentioning about kickers, Jake Elliott's got a really strong leg. So if you need to get him in range of, like, let's say a 60-yard field goal, you only need to pick up about 28 yards. And especially in the case of the Eagles last night, they had 2 timeouts if they needed to. How much do you think this new kickoff rule is going to impact some of these 1 or 90-second drives that we may see at the end of games?
I think it will. I think that you'll see as time goes on, teams will learn what they are best equipped to do.
Like, did the Falcons make a mistake? Even though the result worked out, did the Falcons make a mistake by
bringing the
kicking
ball out?
No, by kicking it to the end zone.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then you know what? I don't know if you saw the clips. I don't watch the Manning Cast live. I still watch the traditional booth. Peyton was really big on them using more time towards the end zone. Eli pushed back and was like, "No, you just have to make sure you score." Peyton's like, "Don't score here too quickly," and he was not a fan when. I think it was London on first down, went out of bounds at the 5. He's like, Peyton's like, don't go out of bounds there.
I mean, it's comparable to what the Bears ended up doing at the end of the first half in the game Sunday night, where they could have actually, they left the Texans obviously too much time, especially when they've got a kicker the way that they do.
Yeah, I think what that shows you is the way Peyton was always approaching it. He felt like he could go in at will
and score whenever he wants.
Eli was like not on Peyton's level.
Yeah.
And Eli's like, we just got to get the touchdown. We can't be worried about being perfect.
Peyton could figure I could score on any down.
Yes.
Eli's like, I just need to score. I'm hoping to score.
I would say Kirk Cousins a little more like Eli than he is like Peyton Manning.
For sure. But I do understand what he's saying about Drake London. Like, when you have the ball, then I think they were at the 12 when they then finally got down and they went out of bounds. Maybe then you say in the huddle, and I think there was still 45 seconds left at that point, guys, right now, we don't have to worry about the clock. And if you do catch it, you don't have to get out of bounds because we want to try and get it as low as possible.
Hey, how about Drake London not use the gun?
Yeah, that was. I mean, people are still raging about why he got the penalty, that it was like
15-yarder.
That it was
You didn't see it?
No.
Yeah, he was shooting.
Yeah, he pantomimed a gun celebration,
like shooting into the air. Yeah.
But also, he was very kind of graphic with how he went about it. It was pretty obvious what he was doing.
You just can't you can't take, remember, this was years ago, Joakim Noah stopped doing the 6-shooter,
and remember,
celebrate. You can't do that these days with all the everything going on in this world.
They've all outlawed the throat slit, that people
the
put
slash.
Out. Yeah, so it's pretty obvious things you can't do that are off limits.
By the way, are you guys surprised? This is out of nowhere. You surprised the Bears are a 1.5 underdog against the?
They were 2.5 on Sunday before the game. So like it always comes out on Sunday night. And so the original line came out, I want to say at about 7:00 on Sunday. And the Bears were a 2.5-point dog at that point.
Huh.
So it might have been bet down already. So
I would say, the Colts are 0-2. I know they're desperate. They're at home, but they're without 2 of their best players. They can't stop a fart on the ground. We can't create a fart on the ground, but like that's going to be quite a challenge, but
it's the fart game.
Yeah.
Who's going to get the fart?
Interesting. I saw the line, I was a little bit, really?
Or will a fart be generated?
I wonder if that'll flip though. Cause like Sylvie mentioned, it's already been bet down to 1.5. Like by the time we get to kickoff, could it be?
Yeah. I saw someone being, I can't believe the Bears are a 2.5-point dog. I'm like, if you're a Bears fan and you're not happy with a Bears being 2.5-point dog and you think they're being disrespected, bet it. Like that's value. You should be happy. Like if you're a gambler, and your team's an underdog and you don't feel they should be. Bet on them.
This is one of those games. I don't know. It's Tuesday. I really don't know what to expect right now.
Neither do I.
My expectation is that the defensive challenge is going to be significantly less than it has the first 2 weeks, so that there's a good chance the Bears offense could get on track. And I believe that a reckless player like Anthony Richardson is going to turn the ball over with our ball hawking defense. But
he could also be tough to tackle too.
No question about that.
Real quick, I want to squeeze this in. This was an interesting story that I saw a little bit earlier today, but the University of Tennessee announced that they are adding a 10% talent fee that's going to be added to the cost of their 2025 season tickets in preparation for the arrival of revenue sharing with college athletes.
Don't give Tom Ricketts any ideas.
And this is already on top of an initial 4.5% average increase. But that's exactly what I was going to ask you.
So the money's going straight to the players?
Yeah, that 10% to the NIL fund.
Yeah. Is this going to be something that stretches to pro sports too?
Well, it's always into the owner's pocket anyway. So, again, The fans should not be paying there's no owner in college. It's these universities don't have the money, except it comes from boosters and fans. That's how they generate this money.
Do you just not want them to tell you that, but they're just going to say, hey, we're going to increase ticket prices by 10%?
But again, is that just 10% more money that the ownership group makes?
Right.
Like in the case of Tennessee, I'd rather you tell me that, all right, 10% of this is going to the players, whether it's prospective players or current guys on the roster, as opposed to bump my season tickets up 14.5%.
It's a good topic. Like, what if Tom Ricketts did come out and say, guys, we're raising ticket prices 10%. By the way, we're doing something new. 8% of this new 10% of the money, 8 of the 10% that we're raising tickets is going into our payroll. So we're also raising our payroll by 8%. Now, a lot of people would say, go screw yourself. You should be raising your payroll by 8% anyway. You're not good enough, and you're a big market team, and look at all the money you make. Other people would be like, I'm still buying my tickets anyway.
They're going to get your money.
So
however they doll it up. I mean, whether they tell you, you know what, if you buy tickets and we've got a 12% increase, 8% of that increase is going into player payroll. I mean, whether they tell you or they don't tell you.
Here's the way I would approach it. And I know the Cubs bumped up our prices for next season too, but I would wait to see results. I would do it for probably a couple of years, see if there's results paying off. And if there's not, then I'm out.
The sad reality
is
a
season ticket holder.
Yeah. As soon as you leave, there's 10 people for,
sure.
That's the sad reality right now. There's an appetite for it. So
it's a good topic for a day coming up. All right. That's Aki's A-List.